Hello friends, I'm Lalit and today we are decoding how an Indian messaging app exploded from 3K to 350K downloads per day in just 72 hours. Friends, what if I told you that an Indian messaging app went from 3K downloads per day to 350K downloads per day in just 72 hours? That's a 100x explosion in traffic that caught even the company completely off guard. This isn't a new app, it's been around since 2021, but suddenly in September 2025 it became a national sensation. Government ministers started endorsing it, people started calling it India's WhatsApp killer. By the end of this video, you'll understand how government's policy, national sentiments, and perfect timing created the fastest growing messaging app in Indian history. Hello friends, meet Arattai, Zoho's made in India messaging app that nobody was talking about until last week. Arattai, which means chit chat in Tamil, was quietly launched by Chennai-based software giant Zoho back in 2021. For 4 years, it's existed in obscurity with just a few thousand users. Then something extraordinary happened. In September 2025, daily signups reportedly increased 100-fold from around 3K to more than 350K in 3 days. The growth temporarily strained Zoho's infrastructure, prompting rapid scaling of servers and capacity expansion. Zoho's co-founder Sridhar Vembu was caught completely off guard. He revealed that new signups went vertical from 3K per day to 350K per day, and the company had to add infrastructure on an emergency basis for another potential 100x peak surge. The app now has more than 1 million active users, and this number is growing exponentially every single day. Today we are going to decode exactly what Arattai is, why it has suddenly exploded, whether it can really challenge WhatsApp's dominance, and what this tells us about the future of India's tech and digital sovereignty. First, let me explain what Arattai actually offers and how it compares to WhatsApp. Arattai offers a complete suite of modern communication tools. Users can send text messages, share photos and videos, create group chats, make high quality voice and video calls, and exchange files. The chat interface is similar to WhatsApp's, allowing users to customize the chat background. Users can make video and audio calls and record audio messages. But here's what makes Arattai different. Arattai is positioning itself as a privacy-focused alternative to WhatsApp. The app emphasizes that it's built with Indian users in mind and keeps data within India. The interface will feel familiar to anyone who uses WhatsApp. There's a reason for this. Zoho deliberately designed Arattai to minimize the learning curve for users. Switching from other platforms, you have your chat list, status updates, and group messaging functionality, all laid out in an intuitive way. For attachments, Arattai currently allows users to share files, locations, and other media. The app works seamlessly across smartphones, and Zoho is planning to expand to desktop platforms as well. With one crucial difference, it's made in India by an Indian company with a focus on keeping Indian data in India. But the app was launched back in 2021, and here we are in 2025, witnessing the steep popularity of Arattai. So what changed? Why did an app that nobody cared about 4 years suddenly become a national phenomenon? The answer lies in a perfect storm of government push, national sentiment, and strategic timing. The surge is strongly tied to the Indian government's Swadeshi and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives. In late September 2025, government ministers started actively promoting Arattai as an indigenous alternative to foreign messaging apps. Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan urged people to adopt Swadeshi and switch to Indian-made apps for staying connected with friends and family. This wasn't just a casual suggestion, it was a coordinated government campaign to promote Indian tech alternatives. The Chennai-based company is positioning Arattai as a powerful homegrown alternative for digital communication. Following endorsements from government leaders and fresh comments from Zoho's founder Sridhar Vembu about the company's larger mission, the app returned to the spotlight. But the government's endorsement alone doesn't explain the 100x surge. There's a deeper context here that we need to understand. Indians have been concerned about data privacy and foreign tech companies' control over their digital communication for years. WhatsApp's privacy policy changes in 2021 created widespread outrage in India. People were looking for alternatives, but none of the Indian options seemed ready. Then there's the broader geopolitical context with tensions between India and various countries and growing awareness about the data sovereignty issues. There's been an increasing demand for Indian-made tech solutions that keeps the data within the country. Arattai's timing was perfect. The app had been in development for 4 years, so it was mature enough to handle the sudden influx. The government push came at exactly the right moment when public sentiment favored indigenous alternatives. The founder revealed their growth came much earlier than their planned November launch, catching them by surprise. Zoho had planned a major marketing push for November 2025, but their organic growth from government's endorsement accelerated everything by months. Now let me explain why Arattai has a better chance of succeeding than previous Indian messaging apps that tried and failed. Zoho is not some random startup, it's a Chennai based software giant with a 28-year track record of building successful enterprise software used by millions of businesses worldwide. Zoho already had complete ecosystem of businesses, tools, email, CRM, project management, accounting, softwares, and dozens of other applications. This gives Arattai several crucial advantages. First, infrastructure capacity. When signups exploded 100x, Zoho could rapidly scale infrastructure because they already operate a massive servers farms for their existing business products. A startup would have collapsed under this sudden load. Second is the financial sustainability. Zoho is profitable and privately held. They don't need to chase quick profits from Arattai. Founder Sridhar Vembu has repeatedly emphasized that Zoho plays the long game, willing to invest years to build sustainable products. Third, integration potential. Arattai can integrate seamlessly with Zoho's business tools, creating value for the million of businesses already using Zoho products. Imagine having your team communication, customer interaction, and business processes all in one integrated Indian platform. Fourth, trust and credibility. Zoho has built a reputation over decades as a privacy focused company that doesn't sell user data, unlike free messaging apps that monetize through advertising or data sales. Zoho has a sustainable business model through its enterprise software. Fifth is the local commitment. Zoho is deeply committed to India, with founder Sridhar Vembu relocating to a rural village and investing in local talent development. This isn't just marketing, it's a genuine philosophy that resonates with users looking for truly Indian alternative. These advantages explain why experts believe Arattai has a real shot at building sustainable market share, unlike previous Indian messaging apps that flamed out quickly. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Can Arattai actually challenge WhatsApp's dominance in India? The numbers are sobering. WhatsApp has over 500 million users in India, its largest market globally. Every Indian smartphone users have WhatsApp installed. It's become synonymous with messaging in India. Network effects create an enormous barrier. Messaging apps are only useful if the people you want to talk to are also on the platform. Even if Arattai is better, you can't switch unless your family and friends also switch. But here's where the analysis gets more interesting. Arattai doesn't need to replace WhatsApp to be successful. It needs to find specific use cases where it provides superior value. Government and enterprise communication could be Arattai's breakthrough segment. If government departments mandate using Arattai for official communication, that instantly creates millions of users. Add businesses that prefer Indian data sovereignty, and you have a substantial user base. The security and privacy angle is genuine. While WhatsApp offers end-to-end encryption, the data still flows through the Meta's servers, and metadata can reveal a lot about users. Arattai's Indian-focused approach means data stays within the Indian jurisdiction. A regional language support could be another differentiator. As Arattai means chit-chat in Tamil, Zoho clearly understands the importance of regional languages. Deep integration with Indian language could give Arattai advantages over global platforms. Integration with India Stack, UPI, Aadhaar, DigiLocker could create unique features impossible for foreign apps to replicate. Imagine seamless government service access directly through your messaging app. The realistic scenario isn't Arattai replacing WhatsApp, it's Arattai becoming the preferred platform for official business and government communication. While WhatsApp remains dominant for personal messaging, this dual app strategy is already common in China, where WeChat dominates despite international alternatives existing. Indians might use WhatsApp for friends and family, but Arattai for work and official purposes. But friends, let's be realistic about the massive challenges Arattai faces going forward. Sustaining growth is the first major challenge. Going from 3k to 350k daily signups is impressive, but converting those signups into active users is much harder. Many people download apps during hype waves but never actually use them. The infrastructure scaling challenge is real. Zoho is adding servers on an emergency basis, but messaging at scale is expensive. WhatsApp can afford massive infrastructure because it's backed by Meta's resources. Zoho needs to balance growth with financial sustainability. Features and functionality gaps exist. WhatsApp has spent over a decade refining its product with virtually unlimited engineering resources. Arattai is playing catch up on features like payment integration, business tools, and advanced group management. The monetization question is crucial. WhatsApp is free and subsidized by Meta's advertising business. How will Arattai make money without compromising on privacy or user experience? Charging users directly is difficult in price sensitive markets like India. User retention is the ultimate test. It's easy to download an app during a nationalist wave, but will people continue using it when the excitement fades? If their friends and family aren't on Arattai, most users will drift back to WhatsApp. Previous attempts at Indian messaging apps have failed. Remember Hike Messenger? It had government support, decent funding, and millions of download, but couldn't sustain user engagement against WhatsApp's network effect. Zoho's messaging app history isn't entirely successful either. They've tried messaging products before that didn't gain traction. What makes this attempt different beyond government endorsements and national sentiments? Let me explain why data sovereignty is becoming increasingly important and how Arattai fits into this bigger picture. Data is the new oil, but unlike oil, data can reveal intimate details about citizens' lives, behaviors, and vulnerabilities. When messaging data flows through foreign servers, it creates national security and privacy risks. Foreign governments can potentially compel companies to share data from their servers. The US Cloud Act, for example, allows American law enforcement to access data stored by US companies regardless of where the servers are located. India's 2023 Digital Personal Data Protection Act emphasizes data localization for sensitive information. The government is pushing for Indian data to be stored and processed within India to prevent foreign surveillance and maintain digital sovereignty. Arattai's positioning as Indian first platform aligns perfectly with these data sovereignty concerns. If data never leaves Indian servers controlled by an Indian company, it's protected by Indian laws and jurisdiction. This isn't just theoretical. Various countries have experienced situations where foreign tech companies shared citizens' data with foreign governments or faced pressure to do so. India wants to avoid being in that vulnerable position. The China model provides a precedent. China blocked foreign messaging apps and developed indigenous alternatives like WeChat. While India doesn't want to go to those extremes, there's recognition that digital infrastructure is strategic national infrastructure for businesses handling sensitive information, banking, healthcare, government contracts using platforms where data stays in India provides legal and security advantages that foreign platforms cannot match at all. Arattai's sudden success represents something bigger than just one messaging app. It's a test case for India's broader tech ambitions. Can Indian companies build world class consumer tech products that compete with the global giants? Until now, India's tech success has been primarily in B2B software and IT services. Consumer tech has been dominated by American and Chinese companies. Zoho's approach offers a different model. They are bootstrapped, profitable, and focused on sustainable growth rather than the venture capital fueled expansion. This patient capital approach might be better suited for building long term consumer products than the burn money for growth startup models. The Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative is being tested. Government support can create initial momentum, but sustainable success requires building product users genuinely prefer. If Arattai succeeds, it validates this policy approach. If it fails, it raises questions about whether government support alone can overcome network effects. Talent retention benefits emerge. Young Indian engineers often prefer working for Google or Facebook over Indian companies. If Arattai becomes genuinely successful, it could shift perceptions and make working for Indian tech companies more attractive. The economic multiplier effects are significant. A successful Indian messaging platform creates jobs in India, generates tax revenue, and keeps value creation within the Indian economy rather than flowing to the Silicon Valley shareholders. There are also geopolitical implications. Countries notice when India successfully builds indigenous alternatives to American tech companies. This could influence how other nations approach digital sovereignty and tech independence. So, what's the realistic future for Arattai? Let me give you my honest assessment. The best case scenario is that Arattai becomes the preferred platform for professional and official communication in India, capturing perhaps 50 to 100 million active users focused on businesses and government use cases. This would be enormously successful without directly challenging WhatsApp's personal messaging dominance. The integration scenario involves Arattai becoming deeply integrated with Indian stack and government services, creating unique value that foreign platforms cannot replicate at all. This creates a sustainable niche even if mass consumers adoption plateaus. The moderate success path would see Aratai maintaining 10 to 20 million active users who value privacy and Indian data sovereignty. This is a niche but profitable segment that Zoho's business model can sustain. The failure scenario which we must acknowledge is that enthusiasm fades after a few months, active usage drops, and Aratai becomes another forgotten Indian app that couldn't overcome WhatsApp's network effect. The key milestone will be 6 months from now. If Arattai still has millions of active daily users engaging with the platform regularly, it has achieved sustainable product market fit. If usage has collapsed to pre-surge levels, the nationalist wave didn't translate into product adoption. Founder Sridhar Vembu's commitment matters enormously. He is planning a lot more for Arattai and has the resources and patience to keep investing even through slow periods. The long-term commitment gives Arattai better odds than venture-backed startups that need to show quarterly growth. Friends, Arattai's 100x growth explosion represents one of the most dramatic moments in the Indian tech history. An app that existed in obscurity for 4 years suddenly became a national phenomenon because government support, national sentiment, and genuine product readiness aligned at exactly the right moment. Whether Arattai can sustain this momentum and build lasting value remains to be seen. The challenges are enormous: WhatsApp's network effect, infrastructure cost, feature gaps, and the fundamental question of whether the nationalist sentiments translate into sustained product usage. But Arattai has advantages that previous Indian messaging apps lacked. It's backed by a mature, profitable company with decades of infrastructure experience. It has genuine differentiation around data sovereignty and privacy. It has a founder willing to invest for the long term rather than chasing quick exits. The next 6 months will determine whether Arattai is a genuine breakthrough or just another hype cycle. But regardless of outcomes, it has already proven that there's a massive latent demand for Indian tech alternatives if the product quality and timing are right. For Indian tech, Arattai represents both opportunity and test. If it succeeds, it's open pathways for other Indian consumer tech products, and if it fails despite government support and nationalist enthusiasm, it suggests that barriers to challenging global tech platforms are higher than policy alone can overcome. The story is just beginning, and millions of Indians are watching to see if the country can build consumer tech that rivals the Silicon Valley's best. Friends, if this analysis helped you understand the Arattai phenomenon and what it means for Indian tech future, please share this video with anyone interested in Indian technology and digital sovereignty. Let me know in the comments, have you downloaded Arattai? Are you actually using it regularly, or did you just download during the hype? Do you think it can sustain this growth? Also tell us what features would make you switch from WhatsApp to an Indian alternative. Is data sovereignty enough, or do you need better features and functionality? If you want more analysis of Indian tech trends and how homegrown companies are challenging global giants, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, because friends, understanding India's tech evolution isn't just about apps, it's about whether the country can build digital infrastructure that serves Indian interest while competing on global quality standards. Friends, whether Arattai becomes India's WhatsApp alternative or another forgotten app, one thing is clear: the battle for India's digital future has just begun. This is Decode with Lalit, where we break down current affairs, policies, geopolitics, history, and the stories shaping tomorrow. If you want to understand what's really happening and why it matters, you are in the right place. Subscribe for more decoded stories that make you smarter about the world. Hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.